Hello everyone, it's OCEEYFX. In today's video, we'll be learning two things together. So the difference between market structure shifts and break of structure. And also, I'm going to be showing you a kind of network glitch and why patients should always be conscious when taking our trades. That will be towards the end of the video. So let us proceed with this. So what's the basic difference between market structure shifts and break of structure? What comes to your mind? So what should come to your mind is that market structure shift happens at reversals when the market your price want to take a reversal to the opposite direction. When you see break of structure happens as a continuation pattern, it keep breaking structure either to the upside or to the downside. But when it goes opposite direction, instead of following the current trend, then you take that to be a MSS, which is market structure shift. A friend of mine said in the comment section that I should make video concerning this market structure shift. I delayed the video, but now I'm back and I'm fit to do the video and share knowledge with everyone on here. So like you can see on my screen in this market structure shift, you can see how the chart was going. If I come to this first one, you see how the chart was going, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This is an uptrend. Then you saw at this point, instead of it to do higher low, what did it do? It did a market structure shift. You don't call this a break of structure. That shifted from the current trend of that day to break the higher high. Instead of doing a higher low, it did a shift. So now what do we get after that? We can see a lower high, then a lower low, and it can also become another shift. Sometimes those shifts can just be to just grab liquidity. Sometimes the shift can be a true market structure shift. So you have to just be very careful when you see a market structure shift from that is changing a continuing trend. When you see changing the continuing trend, you have to wait to see if it's going to do a lower high. After the lower high, look for a lower low. Then you see maybe like two lower and lower lows before you adjust and take your entry. So as you can see in the opposite direction, when you have a downtrend, you can see same thing, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and so on and so forth. And you see the shift that came to come and pierce it and did a high. So most times you can take it, if you enter the chart, you can see this as a point, as some people will call this a liquidity sweep. About that, some people will call it a liquidity sweep. So let me show you this. At this point, some people might just put this as a sweep and tell you that market is going to go and touch the other point of interest. And sometimes you can see it that way. It can come up here, sweep this point out, and enter at the point of interest and still go downtrend. But just note that once it closes here with a full candle body, not just with wicks, then you know that the market has shifted. And what do we see here? To confirm that this market has shifted, we saw a higher low, then another higher high. Then we saw a reversal. So this market structure shift sometimes can be temporary and sometimes can be long term. It can show that yes, this pair is ready to buy. Yes, this pair is ready to sell. And sometimes it can just be temporary, just trying to sweep out early sellers or early buyers. So let's move to break of structure so we don't waste time in this video. We can see the break of structure, like I said, is a continuation pattern. When you see the higher high, higher low, this is the one that we are familiar with mostly. We see break of structures, higher low, higher high, break of structure, higher low, higher high, break of structure, higher low, higher high, break of structure. And when you see your trend line, that shows that the current trend is trending in an uptrend. And if you look at the opposite direction, you see the lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, break of structures, and you can see that and confirm that what I'm saying here is totally different. The market structure shift is different from the break of structure. So let's go into the chart without wasting much time. Let's go. So now you can see that on this chart, this is USD I like using USD to do market breakdown because I still see it as kind of clean a bit. I don't know for others, but I see it as kind of clean to do teachings and things like that. So we can see this chart. This is a 4 hours chart on USD and you see that the market is trending higher high, higher low. If I should use this part to read this out, I'm not going to read it straight, but I know I'm going to try. This is high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So you don't expect how you're going to see it in the live chart to be how it to be in your textbook. So where did the shift happen? It failed to break this higher high. And what did it do? It did a market structure shift and sold and did a MSS. So at this point, we'll call this our MSS because it broke it with a full candle body, not just weak, to show that it just went to sweep liquidity. So it showed you the full candle body. So if you look at this now, if you zoom in closely and check about this, you might see that this shift that happened maybe lasted how many hours? This is a 4 hours chart. So this is 4 hours. It broke it. Let me just say 4 hours. Okay, let me just say 8 hours. It did this for 8 hours. So in Nigerian timing, I don't know the country you are, I don't know the time zone you'll be using, but in Nigerian timing, this took it from 1 p.m. to about that should be like 5. Around 5. Yeah. So, and if you go to your lower time frame, you possibly see that this gave people point of entries to sell for a short term that day before the market shifted and did lower high, and it failed to break to the bottom and did an higher high. Then you can see the chart is still reading up to date. So this is just the simple difference between market structure shift and break of structure. I did this on purpose just to differentiate between the two, because I know some people are out there that might not know the certain difference. I was once there where I couldn't differentiate properly between the market structure shift and the break of structure. So I'm sure this video helps, and for those of you that watched to this very point, I appreciate, and I'm sure that this is going to help you impart either 1 or 2 into your trading journey. So up next, I was saying I was going to show you something about what happened the other time when I was trying to take a trade. So you can look on my screen and you'll see that. So what happened that day was, which was yesterday, was that I took a particular trade, and because of network glitch and so on and so forth, you can see on my screen, I entered that trade almost 4 times. I clicked the buy button because I wasn't seeing my trade placing. I took the trade, then automatically when I went to check my positions, I saw 4 entries, and you can see on this side, you can see that the 4 entries I took before the last one are all red. It was in losses. Then I was like, I'm not going to close this trade because I knew that this trade and setup I'm taking is a perfect setup, is an A+ setup if I'm to follow my own trading rules. But there's no setup that is A+. You can still end up eating losses, but I was just like, I'll wait for this to go my way, then I'm going to close maybe 2 of the trade, and that's what I did. I waited for it to go my way and I closed 2 of the trade because I know the time. I am a day trader, so I waited for that, and when it went to my direction, I monitored my trade, and I told you that I closed my trade 9 p.m. every day. And what did I do when it was 9 p.m.? Either if it has given me 1:2, 1:2, 1:1, 1:2, even if it's not even 1:1, I'm going to close that trade. Even if it's at loss, I'm going to close that trade to avoid market manipulation. So I thank those who watched the video to this point, because it's about sharing another point of knowledge. And as you impart this into your own trading system, I know that patience rules. I didn't close in loss, I know, but assuming I was patient, I would have taken just 1 trade, because assuming it went to the opposite side, I would have lost a lot of money. So thanks for sticking around and stay blessed.